Hey guys, this is What If Shazam was in Invincible Season 2, Episode 3. Let's get into it. So guys, last time I left off where Invincible, Angstrom, Evie, and everybody else would be doing basically the same thing. Only thing that really would change is that Mark and Billy would be the ones that were embracing Debbie after she would have broken down in the room or in the kitchen after, pretty much going hams crazy on the door in the kitchen. But basically what happened with a cabinet in the kitchen, but what happened after that, we get switched to episode 3. Now, if you want to know what really went down, every single last name went down in season 2, episode 2 of the Shazam What If, go watch that. It's in the playlist at the end of the video, or it'll probably be a recommended video underneath this video with the other recommended videos or something like that. So yeah, but let's dive right into this fan fiction. Now, I was going to drop What If Deku. Oh no, I was going to drop the Invincible Benson today, but I can't seem to get the good story I want to get. I'm gonna be posting it later tonight, but I'm gonna give you this, guys. Just give you some Invincible stuff. Plus, everybody's on season 2 now, and this is season 2. So let's get diving into it. So basically, what happened? We start off the episode with season 3, and we will see Debbie and Mark basically just doing their thing as she would have said goodbye to him and Billy to their first day of college. As they would have gotten ready and they would have walked into college together, dabbing each other up, saying this is our first day and a new journey of our lives. As they would have gotten ready. Now, we would have hit with some, awesome Invincible black background music. I mean, some crazy stuff. Giving us some 2000 vibes, As we would get switched to Debbie, as Debbie would be calling Cecil for some help, I think. Not help, but she would be calling the hero agency thing for grieving spouses of heroes. People that had heroes, people that dated heroes or married heroes, and then they died for grieving, stuff like that. So what would happen is we get switched to William and Mark are in the same dorm room. Mark was looking forward to having the same dorm room as his brother, but potato, as his brother would be sharing a dorm room with another kid, as his other kid would have actually been a very equivocal point in the story. He would have been a very different character, actually, not just a side character. He would be a very prominent character in the DC universe, to be honest. As before we get switched to whatever is going on with them, we get switched back to Mark and William. As Mark and William would be talking about the whole, pretty much dynamic and everything between them. Also, him talking about how when you put a sock on the door, don't you dare walk in here, okay, Mark? As Mark would have been given basically boxes of his toys from his old, kind of lives. And basically him looking at them saying that he's kind of grown up. He's in college now. Does he need these anymore? As Mark thinks about throwing them away as he just chucks them in. But Mark realizes that he still want to be a little kid. He still needs to take his little spice dog. Space dog. He can't leave that behind. He needs that. As Mark comes back and he sees that, the sock's on the door, and I guess William is doing something that Mark can't see. So Mark goes back and he also comes across Billy's room. As Billy is pushing in a box of some toys he got from Mom as well. As he says that he's probably just going to box these up and pick them as like a cheer or something, since it's a very dense box. As Mark just says, are you going to throw them away? As Billy goes on about how probably not. But come in, I need to show you something. As Mark walks in, Mark and Billy are starting to talk, and Billy goes on about how this is a new chapter in our lives, but also want to figure out what's the whole hero situation. Like, when we save the world, like, do we take turns or something? As Mark actually thinks that's a good idea. If one of us stays here, tries to cover for the other one, as we go on to save the world, since we're equally as strong as each other. So pretty much, Billy goes on about how this is actually a pretty good chance to actually, use this as a really good team dynamic. As Billy says, I guess every other day you become a hero and I become a hero. So like Monday, hero. Tuesday, you're a hero. Wednesday, I'm a hero. Thursday, you're a hero. Basically going back to forth. And they would have tried to make a schedule out for being heroes, but in the end, them just realizing that any situation we can find our hands on, tell the other one to cover for us, and then we just go whenever, if it's close enough to us, or if our powers are suited to the whole like event of helping people, stopping a car crash, stopping a train going off the rails, or something like that. As well, Invincible and Mark just really just straight up just chalk it up to, if someone needs help, we're gonna call the other one if they need help. So pretty simple, they're just gonna do what they want to do. Now after that, they get interrupted as Amber knocks on, well, Billy's door. As Billy opens it saying, "Oh, hey Amber," as he basically points to Mark saying, "Hey, it's for you." As Mark gets out and he says, "I'll see you later," as he dabs up his brother and goes to hang out with Amber. As Amber and Mark, they do their thing. Their story is happening the same way. But we get switched to, well, Billy. As Billy, after the whole like event of the last episode, as he would have been taken to the Rock of Eternity mentally and being told that it was a great evil coming and blah 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 blah, as he was kind of focused on that whole event, as he would start searching up Egyptian heroes and all sorts of other things, as he would have actually heard some old basically folklore and false prophets about this great power, this great god called himself Black Adam, as he would have realized that this is the same Black Adam that his father fought all those years ago to help him. As he would have started to look closer and closer, as he would eventually realize that this Black Adam is more powerful than he could possibly even imagine. As he looks closer, and he eventually realizes that this power, this strength this man holds, as all in the folklore, they always portrayed him as a omnipotent god, someone that could never be destroyed, someone that could never be hurt, someone that could never, ever be destroyed, someone that was truly immortal, someone that was more powerful than anybody on the face of the earth, even more powerful than the Omni-Man to the folklore and how they described him in the ancient text. As with the Wisdom of Solomon, Billy just chilling in his room without his roommate in there, just in Shazam form, being able to recognize these languages, as he would have actually evolved some of his Wisdom of Solomon. Basically, Billy being able to understand any type of language on Earth. And even sometimes, if he focuses hard enough, maybe even alien language. But that would basically be kind of like messed up. Like jumbled language that would only give him parts of the words. So like if it was like a sentence like, do not come in, it would be like, no come in. Like it would be weird. It'd be like jumbled up words that were like 4-year-old, like elementary grade grammar type thing. So what would happen is Billy would be looking closer and closer, eventually him being interrupted by a call, as Billy's laptop was hooked up to, well, radio signals, or like pretty much cop radios about police officers and all this other stuff for superhero things and crimes going on, as Billy would be interrupted being told that it was some sort of shooting going down near the school, near Billy's old school, near Billy and Mark's school, as Billy would have gotten ready and he would have suited up and he would have flew out of the house, or not flew out the window, basically making his way down there. As he would have flew down there, him telling the cops and police that I got it handled, as he walks in there and opens the doors. As he gets hit with a huge blast of green energy, being shot out the room, and being pretty much bolted into another, like 4 other buildings, making a lot of collateral damage. As he gets up and basically says, "That was strong." As he flies back out, and he flies through the roof of the building down into the cafeteria, as he would have thrown one of the long ass cafeteria tables right at the villain, knocking that man down to the ground. As the villain would have shot more energy blast towards Billy. Jesus, I'm sorry guys, I haven't done a Shazam video in a while. Towards Billy, shooting Billy out of the building and into another part of the building, aka the football field. Billy being shot to the football field, as he would have looked up, as he would have started to fight against this guy, but him noticing that this guy was using certain hand movements and also chanting underneath his voice. As the man would have shot more lightning blast towards towards Billy. Jesus, he would have shot lightning blast towards Billy, as Billy would be shot around and basically ragdolled around the whole football field, as it would be a lot of damage to the football field, basically giving the school a lot, and I mean a lot of collateral damage, but still trying to get him down so no other kids would be hurt or killed. So basically, everybody would be recording this, a lot of kids being basically sneaky and getting past the police, as Billy would have saw this, as the kids were getting awfully close to recording, and they would have a lot of faith in Billy to not let them die, and being able to take this one guy on. As the villain would have noticed this, him shooting a lightning blast towards the kids, trying to get Billy's attention to take him down. Sorry guys, I'm keep on saying Deku. I've just been making a lot of Deku what ifs, and I've mainly made no Invincible what ifs in a long time. So what would happen is Billy would have flew in there as fast as possible using the speed of Mercury, or speed of I guess I don't remember his name. The speed of Hermes, I think? I don't remember. But using his speed, as he would have grabbed the villain's arm, but him not knowing his true strength, him being filled with adrenaline, as he would have ripped the villain's hand clean off. As everybody would have witnessed the scene, the brutality Billy, Jesus! Billy just, oh my god, I'm sorry, yeah. Billy just displayed, as everybody would be looking closely, shocked even, as some kids would be chanting, but other kids would be kind of disgusted, as Billy would have looked around, as he would have grabbed the villain, saying that's going to be okay, as he would have grabbed the villain and started to use his electricity powers to suture the wound and seal off the blood flow so the villain wouldn't bleed out. So he would have grabbed the villain and would have flew him off to a hospital, as they would have cuffed him and put him in custody after they would have treated him to get him badly wounded. As they would have been able to reattach his arm, but his arm having some slight twitches to it for now on, him not really being able to use any type of magic on that arm, as Billy would have realized that he would have looked at his suit, seeing that it was destroyed a little bit, noticing that his suit was just hit with magic. Now Billy did feel a little bit of pain while he was fighting this guy, but that's just normal, like that's what he thought it was. But Billy didn't realize that he was actually feeling true pain, like he was getting hit with actual freaking lightning. He was just really durable at this point. As Billy would have realized that, well, this guy had magic, and Billy could have been killed in this situation, but him just scoffing it off, him trying to figure out how could this guy have magic. There's not many magic users in this part of the world. As Billy would have just started to think about it more and more, as, well, the Rock of Eternity did say that, or the wizard did say that it's a great evil coming. Black Adam and many others are coming to destroy this world, and to bring chaos and destruction and pain and misery, as a lot of death will be coming soon, and Billy had to be prepared for it all. As we can switch back to Mark. We can switch to Mark and Debbie, Mark and Amber. Jesus, that's disgusting. I said Debbie. Amber, they get anything on. But we get switched to, well, Alan's story. Alan's part of the story goes similar to the same. Nothing really changes because Shazam doesn't really have any big type of events going on. To put it simple, Alan's whole story arc with him and his girlfriend and him getting jumped by the Vulturemites go exactly the same. Nothing really changes. There's no real butterfly effect up in space. Now, we see that Rexplode and Duplicate kind of have like a beef going on because Duplicate's dating, was it the Immortal, and now Rex is kind of pissed off at her. But we get switched to Shapesmith coming in to basically work out, as he works out really weirdly, and them not really noticing that he's not actually working out. But we get switched to, well, Rudy, as Rudy is basically trying to figure out how to control his fear responses, not to be shooken with fear when he's out in the field, since now he's really there. He's in a suit, he's really there, he can be killed, he can really be crushed, he can really be destroyed. He actually has, it's actually a thing he needs to uphold. Like, it is life or death. If he slips up, he can actually really legitimately die. There's no second chances for him. So what happened is Ruby will try to figure out how to control this, but him also talking to Monster Girl are trying to figure out if he can fix her as well. But him just focusing more on his mind and focusing on how to hone his mind better. Now, but before that, he does ask Monster Girl if they can go on a date, and she says yes. So we get switched to, well, we get switched to Debbie going to spouses of superheroes to basically get some closure and also get some help. As this whole part of the story goes similar the same, nothing really changes too much. Now, we can switch to another story of Billy. Because this focuses a lot more on Billy, since a lot of episode 3 is kind of like side characters type story. Now what happened is we get seen Debbie goes on a little bit of a drink with one of the other members there, the counseling, as she eventually shows and tells him that her husband is Omni-Man, and that this guy was the spouse of Green Lantern, not Green Lantern, but the Green Ghost. Basically, the person Omni-Man straight up, marked. But yeah, and what happened is, well, Ruby would be, Ruby would be basically there trying to get tickets for an R-rated film, but basically Monster Girl thinking it on the fly, basically asking a random stranger to pose as their parents. Now they would have gotten their whole, movie date done, but they're also going by a diner to eat some burgers and fries. As Ruby would be the very first guy, kind of like complex, not really knowing anything about these foods, knowing that they're very bad for you, but him just eating them anyway, saying that they're delicious. As we get switched away from their story, nothing really changes too much. We already know what Debbie and Green Ghost's husband go through. They getting kind of pissed at each other, especially Green Ghost's husband, saying that your husband is a murderer and he's horrible and blah blah blah, all sorts of other things. Now, what would happen after that whole event? We could switch that Debbie is kind of pissed off and actually very sad and depressed. As he said, Mark walks back into his room, but him also noticing that Billy isn't in his room, as he opens the door, seeing that it's kind of unlocked. As he looks closer and sees that what just happened, like, where is his brother? As he hears a huge bolt of lightning in the back of the campus, as he flies over there and rushes over there as fast as possible, throwing on his suit. As he lands over there and he looks over, seeing his brother fight with some sort of other dude. As he looks closer, and this other dude is actually a freaking Minotaur. As, well, Mark is kind of confused, but also kind of impressed, saying, what the heck is this? As Billy says, hold on to him, as Billy grabs Mark, and they fly towards doing like a combined super punch. Basically a huge bolt of lightning hitting them, as Billy says Shazam, as they're teleported to the Rock of Eternity, throwing this Minotaur back into a cage by their directory of the punch, and then landing the Minotaur in a cage in the Rock of Eternity, closing the cage as fast as possible. Now what happened is Mark would have been asking what was that about, as Billy was set on train for a big evil. As he goes on to pretty much brief his brother about the big evil and about how Black Adam will be coming back, and how the wizard did come to him as a vision and told him that a big evil was coming, and only I can help, only I can stop it, but I don't know if I can do it by myself. As Mark gets closer to his brother and tells him and pats his shoulders, saying that you never have to do anything by yourself. None of us do. We're brothers. We never have to do anything by ourselves ever. We are in it for life. As they hug each other, showing some brotherly love. As after that, we get switched to, well, the rest of the story. Now, what happened is Mark would have been kind of confused, as they would have walked away, as they would have gone back into the real, not the real, but would have came back to Earth, as Billy and Mark would have walked back in William's room, as they would have all started to talk a little bit, and William kind of asking about what Billy's doing, but they would have been interrupted by Space Dog, as they would have been kind of confused, saying, what the hell is this? Isn't this guy like fictional? As Mark would have tried to fight him, basically saying that you're not Space Dog and he doesn't exist. As Space Dog would have tried to, convince them otherwise, but basically Mark and Billy jumping the shit out of this dude. I mean, god damn. They are jumping this dude. I mean, geez, Louise. Let him get up. Let him get up. Like, bro, they are boxing the shit out of this dude. But eventually they stop when the guy reveals himself to be some sort of space bug alien and tells them that their planet needs help. And they need him to stop some meteorites. As basically Mark and Billy kind of try to see maybe they can help. And they both go on a journey. Then they think about not going together and just letting one or the other handle it, but it wouldn't be the best. As they say that maybe they should go together. As they, well, start their journey and they get on the ship, going with the bug guy. As they look closer and see that, and they say goodbye to their girlfriends, Billy also saying goodbye to Shrink Ray and kissing her, saying that I'll be back as soon as possible, okay? And that I love you. As he would have started to kiss her hand, and he would have both made out, basically hugging each other for goodbye. As he would have both left. As Billy and Mark would have both left, Billy being in his human form, not turning into Shazam just yet, but they would have gone to their whole mission or whatever. As Shrink Ray says, I love you and goodbye, be safe, and they all would have said goodbye, being safe, and basically bidding them farewell. As Mark would have also texted Debbie about how both of him and Shazam, both him and Billy, are going to space to save a bunch of aliens and thousands of lives. Eventually, they would have both showed up there, and then both looking at them, as eventually we would have seen that, well, they would have been they would have been introduced to their Lord, and their Lord being freaking Omni-Man, as Billy would be completely and utterly pissed off and shocked, them both saying Dad in unison. Now I'm going to leave it up here, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. Part 4 will be a lot more of a bigger type of story, because obviously, spoiler alerts if you haven't seen season 2, I cannot. The Invincible and Billy team up fight against the actual other Vulturemites is going to be insane, bro. But I love you guys all. Hope you guys have a blessed day. And as always, guys, well, have a blessed day. Deuces.